Yay!
Woo, we did
It's
it!
all mine. It's all mine. Yay!
We're having fun over here
We are
today.
really having fun. I hope you're having fun today too.
Get ready. Here we go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Church with a Two-Drink Minimum.
Alright, everybody ready? We're going to sing. Hey, Lena. I'll tell you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Church with Two-Drink Minimum. Welcome to the Church with Two-Drink Minimum.
We are interfaith,
Interspiritual, God optional.
so relax and get ready for a celebration.
Welcome to the Church with
A two-drink minimum. One more time now.
Welcome to the Church with
A
Two-Drink Minimum.
Everybody come up with an human.
Now I'm used to Jacqueline saying "we doggies."
I know.
We have to have Jacqueline say. We gotta get a recording of Jacqueline.
Yeah, this is very good. I know. Out like half. She just goes, "Wee doggies."
I know we gotta get her. We gotta get her
You're
revved
really-
up, and we'll get a recording of her going "wee doggies."
Okay, yeah, you can tell where we grew up. You know,
I know.
Alabama, Missouri, Florida.
And
You
I
know,
think Jacqueline grew up in
North
Kentucky.
Carolina.
I think Jacqueline grew up in
Kentucky,
Kentucky.
yeah, we got this. The Southern flavor is definitely represented in these rooms. I guarantee you.
Let's say hi to everybody.
How is everybody?
It's so
How
nice
was your
to
Sunday?
see you.
It's
And
really beautiful here in Brooklyn.
it is, and we're just wow.
It's gorgeous.
First day of spring.
It's
Oh,
gorgeous. Yeah, happy spring.
So this is my
Everybody?
spring dress. See, we have flowers in yellow.
And I'm wearing black. Oh yeah, she's got
flowers.
there she
Sina's
is.
got flowers in beautiful blue.
Yay.
That's
Oh yeah, and
lovely.
sunflowers too, which are very popular these days.
Yeah. Well, I bet Arizona has a lovely spring outfit when
She always
when
does.
when she appears on the
She always does.
screen. She will impress us with his spring outfit, I'm sure. And thanks everybody for listening on the radio and watching on YouTube. We're just
We had a
so
good morning,
thrilled.
too.
Oh my goodness! Well, one thing I wanted to say was. I loved the homily. Marisol was so beautiful and vulnerable, and it was just absolutely
We were
beautiful.
moved.
We were so moved.
We've been talking about it all day.
And we have, and then we stayed. We had the opportunity today to
We
stay
don't
for
usually
the
have the
whole-
opportunity, but we stayed all
we
day.
stayed
today.
all day and listened to all the programs, and they were so good. Everybody was so insightful and inspiring. And I heard a couple of folks in a couple of different programs, and I can't remember specifically right now,
Laura.
talking about Laura and other folks talking about loving themselves and how important that is. And we have a special song to share for you about loving yourselves.
Oh yeah, we heard "I love myself" today,
Uh-huh.
like 20 times. So
Yeah.
you know what we're gonna play.
We have
You know what we're gonna play. If you're familiar with our songbook at all, we've already got it's already begun singing in the rooms. We're already singing this.
But one wonderful thing about it. Hey, Connie and Ellen.
Hey.
We're so glad you're here. And Arizona's on screen now. Hey, Arizona, happy spring.
Got her yellow
Got your
scrunchies
yellow
in.
scrunchie in.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Connie.
Oh, look
you're
who's
out
outside.
on a spring day.
Oh, now we're jealous.
Oh,
don't jump.
Connie, that's gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
Oh.
That's a beautiful view you've got. You're giving us, Connie.
Oh, I'm gonna have to edit that into the YouTube if you don't mind, because that's just
It's
gorgeous.
so beautiful. Yeah.
Wow, how fun! What a lovely day.
I show you out the window, but it's just me looking at the side of a building here. Our views are great. You just have to leave the building.
Yeah. You have to walk down the
Yeah,
street.
you have to get out of the, you have to go down four flights of stairs.
blocks and four blocks. We live actually close to the New York Harbor, which is very, very pretty.
Yeah,
and,
you can stand at the end of our block and see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
At right down
Yeah.
at the end of the bay, and that way to the Verrazano Bridge. You can
Yeah.
stand at the end of this block and
Jacqueline!
see it all. Yay!
Wait, Jacqueline, look what I'm wearing.
She's so proud of this. She was wearing her
Jacqueline
yellow
has a-
dress.
Jacqueline has a dress like this.
Uh-huh.
This is like I have to wear it. And we were so funny. We were just talking about you because we were doing the wee doggies, and we said,
We really
we need to get Jacqueline to do. We need to do a recording of Jacqueline going wee.
Get her all
doggy."
riled up.
Anyway, we have a lot to share with you today, and one of those things I was talking about the song "I Love Myself," and that people have been sharing about loving themselves today in the sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I have a special clip. Special, I love that word. Clip, I know, of our performance of "I Love Myself" from the show I did on Friday. So I'm so thrilled to share that with you. Oh, Jacqueline just sent us a little note. Yay! So I'll be happy to share that. We're happy to share that with you. Just a little excerpt, a little teaser from my show, Simply Me and My Friends, that we did on Friday night. And some of you were there, and I really appreciate you being there. And
So nice to see some familiar faces.
It was.
They had a big screen. I was there. We were all looking at you while
Yeah.
you were looking at us.
Yeah, it was
So
cool.
it was really nice to be, it was like to see, we saw everybody that was there. We saw everybody's close-up, beautiful faces. It was really lovely. I'd never experienced anything like that before.
It was really, really
Because usually the
fun.
clubs are dark. I
Yeah.
can't see.
You can't even see anybody.
I can't see the 50 people, 100 people that show up or whatever.
Oh, well, thank
So it was
you,
nice to be
Connie.
able to see everybody. It was really
I
nice.
appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. So let's get started.
I know. What's our sing-along today?
Let's do our sing along. Let's do Grace Goes With Me.
Okay.
Because Gracie was just here.
I know, she was just screaming at us. I think she found the bottom of her bowl. It's just a crime around here.
She's going to go eat. Ukulele time! Yes! 1, 2, 3, 4. Grace goes with me. Wherever I go, she goes with me. Sacred mystery. Wherever I go, Grace goes with me. Wherever I go, sacred mystery. Wherever I go, her light surrounds me. Her love enfolds me. Her power protects me. And the presence of grace watches over me. So wherever I am, she is. And all is well. Grace goes with me. Wherever I go. Hey, somebody's joined me. It's Jill. Hey, Jill. We're so glad you're here. Here's our sing-along. If you want to pick it up with us. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Grace goes with me. Wherever I go, she goes with me. Sacred mystery. Wherever I go, Grace goes with me. Wherever I go, sacred mystery. Wherever I go, her light surrounds me. Her love enfolds me. Her power protects me. And the presence of grace watches over me. So wherever I am, she is. And all is well. Grace goes with me. Wherever I go. Wherever I go. Wherever I go.
Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha.
I know. She doesn't let me harmonize on that part. I always get it wrong. So, I always want to go harmonize on that part.
Well, we'll work it out.
I know.
We'll do some
I'm
rehearsals.
nearly tone deaf.
Wow. Well, what a great week this has been. I've really enjoyed it. We've been enjoying the workbook lessons this week because it's been talking about the light and miracles, and we love
We did
that.
the first 50 lessons.
Oh God, I love the first 50 lessons.
First 50 lessons.
Yeah.
Then we're on the neck. There's a 10. Then there's a 10 lesson, 10-day review.
Right, and now we're into the next part.
We're in the next section.
So let's go over what the.
Do you want to do this? We have to do.
Workbook.
You want to do the workbook
Oh,
lessons?
let's do the song first. Though.
So, did you know that you can read A Course in Miracles in a year if you read 12.8 pages a week?
I think everybody in this room knows that.
Did you know that? And did you know that the lessons track with the text?
Yes.
So if you're reading the text and doing the lessons, they kind of go together and explain things together.
Connie says no. Connie's shaking her head.
Are you kidding me? There's an introduction to the workbook lessons,
which we love.
that is a really good attitude builder, I think.
I do too.
That builds an attitude and a way of looking at the world. And she was talking about that. Marisol was talking about that today. How do you become present with whatever's happening, like whether it's good or bad, what if their emotions are happening, a high or a low or whatever it is. How do we manage to not leave?
And she did that so well.
She modeled it. We watched her do it.
She modeled it.
It was just really thrilling.
Oh gosh!
So that's why I like these instructions
I know.
to the lessons, because it actually gives us permission to not be very good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So see if you can listen into some really sage advice here about how to enjoy
the
workbook lessons,
All right. So,
I know. So there's that. And so let's see if we can get that.
Okay. Here we go.
Ready?
Get in the groove, baby.
The overall aim of the exercises is to increase your ability to extend the ideas you will be practicing to include... What do they include? Everything! This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for this kind of transfer. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. You need not even welcome them. And some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy. Do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas your workbook contains, and whatever your reaction to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. Use them. Nothing more than that is required. Use them. Nothing more than that is required. Alright. Go on, Marty. Come. Can we manage that to just
Use the ideas and see whatever happens, whatever comes up, you know?
I know.
And that's what we watched
it does.
really good examples of that today.
All day
so,
long.
let's go back a little bit. We're on
All
lesson
right.
79. Today's lesson 79, but let's go back to lesson 75. One of my favorites. I remember one of the first times that I heard this lesson when I did it for the very first time. I can still remember it almost 15 years ago, 15 years ago probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
It makes such an impression.
That
So 75 is the light has come. And it says the light has come.
You are healed and you can heal.
Yes.
That changed my life. Maybe it changed yours too. Maybe
The light has come. You are saved and you can save.
I know.
You are at peace and you bring peace with you
Wherever you go.
Darkness and turmoil and death have disappeared.
The light has come. I know.
Hallelujah. I'll say yes.
I know. So and we're done. So that's like this is like okay. This is lesson 75. We got 300. We got 200. This is 190 original lessons in here. So we're about almost a third of the way into the original lesson. Lesson 76.
76 says, I am under no laws but God's.
Which is very interesting. Oh.
That's I like the first. I always like the first sentences that she says. She goes, "We have observed before how many senseless things have seemed to you to be salvation, but each has imprisoned you with laws as senseless as itself.
Right.
You're not bound by them." I love that.
I know, imprisoned.
Yeah.
One of the common metaphors, of course.
Then 77
is...
And I haven't even written a song about this yet, which I need to because this is one of my favorite ones. I am entitled to miracles.
Okay, yeah. So when someone calls you entitled, you said you're right. I'm entitled to miracles.
And so are you.
And so are you.
Yes.
Because of what you are.
You will receive miracles because of what God is, and you will offer miracles because you are one with God. How simple is salvation? It is merely a statement of your true identity. It is this we celebrate today.
Your true identity.
Absolutely.
I know. We're going to talk about nature or natural state. She's going to use the word for natural state from chapter 7. So then, yesterday's lesson.
Let miracles replace all grievances.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Perhaps it is not yet quite clear to you that each decision you make is one between grievance and a miracle.
And we were so we've been listening all morning here in the sanctuary, and that was also talked about today in one of the programs.
Yep.
That each decision you make, I think they were using different language, but it's still the same thing.
And the way the Course does this, or the way it puts this principle out, is to say we're building two kingdoms. That's the way
it says today. That's what the lesson is today.
So we're building two kingdoms, either one based on the laws of God, miracles in reality, or grievances, which is like which is a magical will that can't happen. So what's today? What's today's lesson?
Today is.
I know this is really good.
This
oh
is
no!
A good one.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Let me recognize
the problem so it can be solved.
Right. There's the method. We're not. There is no meaning of love that cannot be taught, because the opposite of love is fear. But what has no opposite?
But love can have no opposite. Anyway, but what you were going
it's
for...
all encompassing.
Yeah, it's all encompassing. What you were going for is...
Did you hear that cat crying for... So let me recognize that the problem can be solved.
Let me recognize the problem so it can be solved.
The obstacles to love's awareness.
Yes, exactly.
The presence of love.
That's what
the
you were
obstacles.
trying to... Yeah.
Right.
Let's find the obstacles.
You can see the obstacles.
And so, with that in mind, tomorrow is...
I know.
Let me recognize my problems have been solved. So see, that's so cool. So today is let me recognize the problem so it can be solved. So what is the problem? Separation.
I don't know who I am.
Right. I don't know
how to act like it.
And then tomorrow is let me recognize my problems have been solved.
My problems have been solved.
because there's only one
Problem.
and one solution.
No. Separation.
Only one thing going on over here, as
No.
Reverend Jacqueline likes to say. It's very true. Very, very
one life
true.
to live.
My little girl. Hold on. I think she needs some loving. Let me bring her over here so y'all can see her.
We don't usually get to meet the cat. She's usually in the other room.
There's my
This
baby.
is the chonk. This is one chonky girl. This
We
is
love my baby girl.
Gracie McSqueakers III. We sometimes call her Miss Fat of the Wide Stance.
She's a big old girl, and we love her so much.
A special place in the heart for all the big girls out there.
Yeah, that's my kitties.
So let me recognize my problems.
Have been solved.
If you are willing to recognize your problems, you will recognize that you have no problems. That's what she says. It's amazing.
So with that, let's go into meditation.
Let's
Let me recognize my problems have been solved. Go back to that for one more second. If you're willing to recognize your problems, you will recognize that you have no problems. I love it. Let's breathe. As we gather today here in this Awakening Together sanctuary, we are intentionally co-creating a circle of love, unconditional love, love that we experience right here in this sanctuary every time we come here. The unbelievable, sometimes amazing, unconditional love that everything is made out of. And so in this circle of love, we accept everything that we like and everything that we do not like. And we allow it. And we recognize that all our problems have been solved. There is no separation. We are one with God, and we are one with each other. Blessed be. And so it is. We're going to do a little I Love Myself jam. Woo! Right? And I'm going to call, and you're going to respond out there. It's very easy. You can do it. Follow Ashley and Kenneth. Here we go.
Opportunity finds me. I create what I need. I'm open to suggestions. I accept success. I take responsibility.
That's
piano.
a little bit of barroom piano, and I love that the barroom piano in that. It's very, 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 very cool. It felt like like we were like see the dancing girls come out.
Why not?
I know.
That was very
What
fun.
show could not be approved by dancing girls? That's all. That's what I want.
There we go.
I know. But
Anyway,
yeah,
was so much
speaking of
fun.
dancing girls, we're on section 7. This is the gifts of the kingdom, and this is section 9. Now, section 7 is where
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. I'm sorry. In section.
Okay. In
section 11.
11. Yes. Thank you. So just to be clear, it's chapter 7, section 11. Okay, and the section is called the state of grace.
Yeah, and this is the conclusion. This is the last section in chapter 7, the gifts of the kingdom, which is about the teacher. We learned about projection. We learned about separation. And we're kind of learning. This is the conclusion of 3 weeks spent on the teacher. This is one of the longest chapters. That's how important this section is, or that is how important this is for the cosmology of A Course in Miracles. This is the teacher. This is the kingdom. And if you're familiar with the terminology in the Course, she uses the word kingdom to mean what is real and what is in the moment. She uses the kingdom as the way of saying the presence, the present moment now, and what I've begun to call the collective now, because she's going to explain about the state of grace, wholeness, and forgiveness, and what all these things have to go do together. Okay,
right.
So this is called the gifts of the kingdom, and she's going to contrast 2 different types of kingdoms, and that one is reliable and one isn't. So would you read what I've got highlighted for you? And you can read the underlined parts as well.
Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, it starts like this. The Holy Spirit will always guide you truly because your joy is His. This is His will for everyone because He speaks for the kingdom of God, which is joy. Following Him is therefore the easiest thing in the world. I'm finally beginning to get
I know
that.
the difficulty is the resistance. My
Right,
resistance,
it's the
not
difficulty.
that it's hard.
Right. Following Him is therefore the easiest thing in the
world.
world. The world perceives orders of difficulty in everything. But in your natural state, there is no difficulty at all because it is a state of grace. Grace goes with me. Yeah.
So our natural state is the state of grace.
State of grace.
So joy, she defines joy as the kingdom of God. She describes joy as something that we share with the Holy Spirit as our guide. And she says joy is the truth of who we are. It's what the guide uses, right? So following our joy should be the easiest thing to do in the world. And
right?
if you think about that, it's like, oh, what do you want to, what do you really truly want to do? What are you about? What is your function? What's your attitude? What's your default setting? If we understood those things, it would be the easiest thing to do. The hardest thing in the world to do is to not be yourself.
Right. Gosh. Wow. Truly.
So it sounds like, but joy is supposed to be easy? Yeah, it is. It's easy, she says, because it's not of this world, meaning it's real. It's not a material object that decays. Joy isn't something that loses its effectiveness over time. It's real, it's reliable, it's unchanging. So what is real is what your natural state is. So joy is a real thing. Joy is the moment. Joy is reality. Joy is what we are. Joy is the kingdom. Interesting ideas of when we talk about this flow. Now, to the perception of the ego, what we are is this decaying material. It's something that's we're an object. The ego believes itself to be the body. Remember from last chapter? The ego speaks for the material world. It speaks for and from the perspective of decay, of time, of loss, right? Because that's what it is. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not real. That's the only voice it could have. So therefore, the ego sees a world in which there are orders of difficulty.
Right.
Right. It's harder to get, it's harder to climb the mountain than it is to like climb the hill or like climb a ladder or something like that. It just sees in orders of difficulty. Okay. That something, and it sees that things take time, or that something has special conditions. If it has special conditions, it's not real. So the ego cannot do anything wholly. It's never all in to the thing. It's always got a critical.
Right, that's
thing.
true.
It's never. It's always hedging its bets.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. That's a good point.
So we have knowledge, if we have the knowledge that there is no order of difficulties. The challenge she's asking us to recognize or to look at, what Laura was saying this morning, is how difficult it is for us to act on what we know to be true, or what we want to be true, or to act on our joy because we still believe it requires loss out of us. So she's like, look at. She wants to understand these concepts because she's going to go into she's going to go into some questions about how to examine your life or the state of being in order to make good decisions. So continue with the second and third, what I've highlighted in the second and third chapter. You can certainly read the underlined parts as well.
Okay, but go back in the room for a second. I want to encourage folks, if y'all have any comments, there's something we haven't seen.
Hi,
we're just talking.
Ukulele time.
Yeah, we're just seeing some things. Okay, here we are. Grace is the natural state of every son of God. When he is not in a state of grace, he is out of his natural environment and does not function well. A son of God is happy only when he knows he is with God. Consider the kingdom you have made and judge its worth fairly.
The key word in that is made.
Made. You have made, right, rather than created. Yes,
See,
exactly.
we're going to contrast that again. Okay.
You who could give the love of God to everything you see and touch and remember are literally denying heaven to yourself. You who could give the love of God to everything you see and touch and remember. And remember. Everything you see and touch and remember.
Because those are all material things.
Right.
So this is she's asking us to cultivate discernment or fair judgment. She uses the word fair judgment. To compare the kingdoms that were built. Look at the foundations that we're building our life on, whether or not they're real or not. Is it made versus created? Right? If it's created, it's regenerative. Right? People and living beings are regenerative. Computers and books and pots and pans, they're not regenerative because you can't leave the pots and pans in the kitchen and they'll make little pots and pans and spoons that doesn't happen. Okay? But it does happen if you put a bunch of rabbits in a room, you're going to get more rabbits. Okay? Because rabbits are regenerative. That's what she's talking about, dealing with something that's real versus created. Made versus created, excuse me. And she asks us to think about it as a natural state and an unnatural state. And as worthy and as unworthy. Is this worthy of you as the Son of God? As a being of love and light? Right? And she asks you to evaluate the world and your feelings and your attitude. Examine what is happening. Honestly. Fair judgment, right? Cultivating discernment. She says, how well do you function in these two different kingdoms? Do you function well in joy or do you function well in strain? Do you feel strain? She asks, ask your question, do I feel like I belong? Is this worthy? Does this feel like home? Does this protect my peace? Do I feel like my peace is protected? Wow. Does this kingdom shine love onto the world? Am I untouched by fear? Does this kingdom give me the feeling of being untouched by fear?
I think
does it give me loss?
Yeah, I think it's more of a confidence rather than a feeling. Untouched by fear, because you can still be afraid and not be touched by fear. You know what I mean? You can still feel that and not be touched by it.
So the teacher asks us the teacher says, your giving is your joy.
Right.
So she goes, so what you give away, you actually value.
Right.
So if you got a bad attitude or hey, you know,
Giving away your bad
that's what you
attitude.
value.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
we give away what we value. We give away. So if you value joy, you give away joy, reality. And joy as the kingdom, joy as the moment, joy as the goal of the Holy Spirit. She says it's the only place that you're going to be happy. And believe you me, this present moment is the only place that will satisfy us. She says we are created for joy. For it.
Thank you.
Created for joy. We are created
like
for
that.
reality. We are created for this moment as this moment.
I'll
and to
take that.
share this moment. And she says, and you have been given
everything.
Right? Everything that's real.
Yeah.
Right, is in this present moment. The request is to give the love of God to everything.
And no matter what your reactions
to the ideas may be, use them. So that's where we to give the love of God to everything. And
So
what's
cool.
the love of God? Your presence. The presence of love. Your extension of peace into the world. To give the love of God away because that's what's real. And there's abundance of it. To give and
There
live
is.
as this sense of abundant peace.
There is.
So read the what I've
I
highlighted
am.
in the
Let's see
fourth
if
paragraph.
anybody's commenting or anything. All right. Cool.
I call upon you. Just
I call upon you to remember that I have chosen you to teach the kingdom to the kingdom.
don't you love that?
Well, that's really odd. I hope we understand what that means here a little later. I have chosen you to teach the kingdom
Go
to
ahead
the
and read the whole
kingdom. There are no exceptions to this lesson because the lack of exceptions is the lesson. Every son who returns to the kingdom with this lesson in his heart has healed the sonship and given thanks to God. Everyone who learns this lesson has become the perfect teacher because he has learned it from the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
But what does this mean? Teaching the kingdom to the kingdom. I don't understand.
Okay. So this is the idea of teachers teaching teachers.
That. Oh, okay.
So we're being taught, and we're always teaching, right? You know, we're always teaching who we say we are. What are the laws? We're always teaching by the laws of the kingdom. And she says there are no exceptions because everybody does this. Everybody. This is the reality of the way the way materialism, the way the world works, the way projection works, the way humanity and suffering works. The one problem. She says, place this lesson in your heart, right? I have chosen you to teach the kingdom, love, joy, what is real, to the kingdom, to the rest of the children that are here, to the living, to ourselves. So
Okay.
teach it to ourselves, teach it to the moment, teach it,
yeah.
offer what we want in the world.
In the moment.
In the moment.
To everyone who is everyone is.
And so she said, if we're able to do this, if we can be present with others, and do this teaching of the presence of love, teaching the joy of the moment, the interest in being here, the interest in the presence of reality and joy, she says this heals relationships.
Wow.
Because we're in the moment with somebody. When you're here with me, I'm here with you as us. We're going to do this. And it offers appropriate gratitude. It's one of the things that I sign off most of my emails with in appreciation. Because it's a direct quote from Course in Miracles, which says appreciation is the correct response to your brother.
Yeah.
So this, this presence, this realizing the truth, our joy is the joy of the present moment when we're deep in this collective now. And the result, if we do it, keep doing it with others in this like awakening together community, we become as the perfect teacher. The community becomes the perfect teacher.
Oh.
The moment becomes the teacher.
Boy.
The kingdom becomes the teacher to the kingdom. Do you see that?
I do see that.
Us teaching us to be
Yes.
us in greater here and now. That's called the perfect teacher. and it's our natural state.
Wow.
That is the kingdom.
That's really, really cool that you put it that way, because as we sat here all day, we had the opportunity, like we said earlier today, to listen to all the programs on Sunday, and that is exactly what I experienced. Everyone teaching everyone about
Everyone.
Yeah, about everyone. And about the present moment of being and how to stay here and how to be here. And it was so it felt so at home. I felt so
at
home.
Yeah, you like those questions?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do
Do I feel like I belong?
Do I feel like I belong?
Is this worthy?
of me?
Is this home? Does this protect my peace? Does this shine love? Yes.
Right. That's how you know this joy. That's the ideas of the kingdom. So read the fifth chapter here, or the fifth, what I've underlined and highlighted in section 5, or the fifth paragraph.
I got it, sweetie. It's good. It's good. When a mind has only light, it knows only light.
Aww.
When a mind has only light, it knows only light. Its own radiance shines all around it and extends out into the darkness of other minds, transforming them into majesty. The majesty of God is there for you to recognize and appreciate and know.
The majesty of God.
The majesty of God. You are the majesty of God.
Oh, no. Who knew? Who knew?
Oh, we know. We actually all know. Deep inside ourselves.
So, read the... Okay.
Okay, and so nothing is so easy to recognize as truth. This is the recognition that is immediate, clear, and natural.
Well.
You have trained yourself not to recognize it, and this has been it's been very difficult for you. That's what the difficulties are. Yeah.
So the majesty of God, that's what she calls the collective now. The majesty of God. Recognizing the majesty of God as your brother is to accept your own inheritance. This is a collective relationship. So the majesty of God is this deep collective now. I'm saying right now, this radiant mind of light extending to other minds. That's reality of us. To know only light. Okay, so what does to know only light then? It's not belief, right? I don't believe something is. I have experience and knowledge, and I act on it. There's surety. Knowledge of light implies surety. Light being the another example of what is real. So to recognize, appreciate, and to know the truth, it becomes immediate and clear and natural. But it's not difficult. It's laying about all over the place. It's not. The kingdom of heaven lies in plain sight.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
We know these concepts. This is what she's trying to get us to understand. We're putting the veils in front of it. We're doing the putting glass dark glasses. That's what I'm trying to think of. Dark glasses.
Yeah.
So she asks us to remember that there are no levels in wholeness. There are no levels in God. There are no levels in reality. There are no levels in the kingdom. Right? We are and always will be deep in this present moment, even whether or not we have a human conscious awareness of it or not. Right. And so the task that she's asking, that we go through together, that the majesty is healing the relationship that heals. The thing that we're doing is undoing our previous lessons, undoing our previous training. That's right. Into the world that we've been, the traumas, right, that we have as individuals, the mistakes, the I am bad belief that we talk about here, the inability to accept ourselves as we are, as children of God, as peacemakers and creators. It can be very difficult to think of yourself as a creator. Yeah. It can be very difficult to say, I am light. I am the light of God. I am my own salvation. That can be really difficult at the beginning of a path. It sounds like you're blasphemous or something like that.
Yeah, remember when I got criticized for singing "I Love Myself"? People, this person thought I was being really narcissistic, and I was like, this is baseline, you know.
Yeah, we had a
This
review.
is really baseline understanding of being able to love yourself.
And you
know?
want to be with somebody who loves themselves.
Right, right. So the next part goes, you do not know yourself because you do not know your creator. Only the whole sonship is worthy to be co-creator with God, because only the whole sonship can create
There's
like
the collective creative
Yeah.
force.
Mm-hmm. Deny your brother's creative power, and you are denying yours and that of God who created you.
Right. So how and what does how is creation, how do we create, and what is creation, and how do we co-create together? It's all done in this present moment. It's all done. Deny your brother's creative power. Like I'm going to build the world with you. I'm going to build what we experience with you. I don't build it just myself. I don't build the experience of humanity by just me. We're doing it. So the truth is the collective power of creation. And truth as an environment that we do it in, or ignorance or the darkness. We could certainly try to create in the darkness. And if you create the darkness, you make. You don't create.
You don't create.
You don't work with that regenerative power. You work with something that is dead, right?
Yeah.
Dead and decay, right? To know oneself is to know our brother. And so, who are you if you're collective? If we're this massive being? To know yourself would be to know the being that we are. That isn't just inside here, my head. It's this us. It's the we space. We cannot know our creator without knowing our brother. The whole sonship creates. So what we do and what we create together. And this is another one of those great polarities. Either together, because we don't ever make decisions by ourselves either, right? We either make decisions based on our programming, or we make decisions on what we know to be true. And that's the collective now. This one being. We're all in this together. So the whole sonship creates. And what we do together. This is the polarity of she's asking us to look at the two kingdoms that we're creating. We can create a kingdom of suffering and hierarchies and chopped up in a chopped up world, with levels of understanding and good and bad, or we can be in this kingdom that is already here. The joy of reality that is already here. This deep, satisfying collective now. That's the only thing that's going to satisfy us. And she calls this healing, when we recognize the recognition of our worth in creation and the necessity of our brother, of you and me and us. And the birds and the bees and the bumble trees and everything.
Bumble trees?
Bumble trees. Why not? So the request is to deep support, to be in deep support of each other's power.
Oh gosh.
She's making fun of me again.
Did y'all hear bumble trees?
I heard it. Bumblebees in the trees. So the request she makes in the second to the last paragraph, and we're going to wrap it up here, is to support each other's creative power, to support I'm going to support your ability to extend peace in your life. I'm going to support your ability to explore this joyful moment. I'm going to support our ability to do this together and create the kingdom that we want to experience collectively, now, here. So supporting each other's power. So read this last bit, and we're about done.
All right.
Oh, cool.
You cannot deny part of the truth.
I know.
Being is known by sharing.
Say that again.
Being is known by sharing.
Being is known by sharing.
Know then the sons of God, and you will know all creation. The sons of God. So she's likening all creation, calling it the sons of God. All beings. All living beings. For all beings,
for all life, Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Teach the kingdom to the kingdom.
I think I have a better understanding of that.
Being known is known by sharing joy. The reality of who you are. Our presence, the presence of God. Me. This, as us, coming through me. Examine what the kingdom we're sharing. Examine what kingdom we're sharing. Are we sharing the kingdom of suffering and trial and death, death and suffering? You know?
No thanks.
Or reality. And know your brother as yourself. No, but that's me. That's me. My fate is tied to the one being's fate. Know then, she says, the sons of God, and you will know all creation. If you will know what is real, you will know everything that has been created or will be created, and that's knowing ourselves. So knowing the kingdom and knowing our creation is this beautiful, incredible, continuous flow of being and joy and peace in this now that we all inhabit. I can find you here. You can find me here. Always. So, I'm Reverend Glen Ganaway, your favorite anarchist preacher, and you're at Church with a 2-drink minimum.
Cheers!
Oh, it's the love of my life, Reverend Yolanda, right there.
And you are the majesty of God.
I know. How about that? The majesty of God, the collective being, this majesty of God.
I know, right?
When all the brothers come together, we become a majesty. It's not a crowd. It's a majesty.
Right? I love it. I love it. Wait, we have a couple of comments in the box.
Yay! Chapter and section. It is the chapter we read. I'll put it in there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, put it
That's
in
a
there.
good idea.
I should probably already be doing that.
Yeah, you should do that anyway.
Oh,
let's
no.
put that
Oh,
in there.
well.
Okay.
Paste.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad you asked.
The lack of exceptions is the lesson. Yeah.
That's a good idea. We should do that
Mm-hmm.
every week. So, to celebrate our majesty and our freedom, I have one of my favorite songs I want to share with you that I've played a lot, but I just love this video, so I hope you like it.
Every thought we think, every word we speak is creating our future.
You know my soul is singing. You know my soul is singing. For freedom. Yeah. Are you in charge of your life? Do you make it your own? Do you follow your heart? Yeah. This moment is your home. Do you see love all around you? And let compassion fill your soul. And feeling all of your sensations. We are free and we are whole. And so our thoughts create our freedom. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Or do you love to suffer? Are you comfortable with pain? Well, try living in the flow, in the state of well-being. And don't you worry about tomorrow. You just stay in the now. All is good if you can see it. It all works out somehow. So our thoughts create our freedom. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah.
All of us are on a journey. Love and appreciate who you are. We are divine, magnificent expressions of life. The universe loves gratitude. The more grateful you are, the more things you have to be grateful about.
Does your intuition guide you? Or do you lay awake at night? Do you believe in the power? Yeah, 'cause you know it's your birthright. And in your moments of confusion, when you can't find the way, there's an answer deep inside you that puts you back in harmony. And so our thoughts create our freedom. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, soul is singing. You know my soul is singing for
Oh, thank you. So wonderful. Thank you.
Alrighty. That is what we're going to call Church with a 2-drink minimum.
We love you. We'll see you next Sunday, and stay tuned for something genuine.
No.
Bye.